We're not waiting for anyone, right?
We may have another guest, but they're not here yet, so we're not waiting for anyone.
So we should go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:32. Right? Members present are John Hanson and Sharon Johnson. Absent today are Will Litton. From staff is Lenka Kopek and Rex Eberly. And present, of course, is Terry Murphy. Thank goodness. We have a guest today. Welcome. Would you mind stating your name?
Yes, I'm Lainey Sumner.
Lainey Sumner. Welcome. Has anybody had a chance to read the minutes of the previous meeting?
I have.
Okay.
Oh, I need to make a motion
To approve
to
those
approve the minutes, yes.
I'll second.
Okay. A motion to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, the minutes of the previous meeting are approved. Correspondence and public comment. We have Lainey Sumner here from URI. Would you like to talk a little bit about your request for the bike path?
Absolutely.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, come on up.
If I may, while Lainey's coming up, there is an item under new business for this, and if you want to bump it up at the same time, you're certainly
Oh,
welcome to
yeah.
do so on the agenda. And you'll notice also that the outdoor facility request form that's been tucked into your packets
Yes.
is, along with that, in that
From
section
Lainey.
of your packet is the email kind of correspondence from between Rex and Lainey. But if you want to go ahead and bump that,
Yeah.
you certainly can.
Yes, shall we move new business item A up, as well as public comment, so we can hear from Lainey?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have to have that approved, or no? It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay. Lainey, if you would tell us a little bit about your plan to use the bike path.
Absolutely. So, I'm Lainey. I'm a junior at the University of Arizona Film Media and Psychology double major with an honors
Wow.
just so you can know a little bit about me.
Impressive.
I am producing a senior thesis capstone film for a student. His name is Yahya Kadum. He is out of Providence, and his film is basically about a young graffiti artist who is actually becoming more in tune with his own religion, and he follows the practice of the Islamic religion. And so for this, since we are in South Kingstown, where Kingston is where the university is, we wanted to use the bike path because we know that you have a public area that you have for graffiti, but we also know that there's an underpass that is closer to where Ichiban Karate Studio is, that's actually completely with no graffiti. So I've been chit-chatting with Rex a lot. He's been very helpful, and he told me about all the concerns. I know it sounds like making a graffiti is, not the first thing that you want to hear about, but what we have actually talked about is we are building our own fake wall, so nothing goes in front or goes onto your walls at all. We'll be filming on one side of the bike path. We'll put on little posters. I actually printed one out so you guys can see exactly. We'll just say filming in progress, just so no one is, completely taken, aback by what we're doing. There's gonna be about 20 or so people there. It's a full crew. It's all these people that hardworking film students are all seniors as well, or some of them are even alumni that are in the field, which is super fun. And we'd be there on Friday for one day, and we'd be there for about 12 or so hours. It's a regular work day for us film kids, and and then I chit-chat with Rex a lot. I have the script in front of me as well if you folks are more than welcome to read it. And we're filming there. We're filming at my aunt's house, and then we're actually getting approval to use Fort Weatherall and like some of the other state places or locations as well. So, yeah, a little bit of knowledge.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
It does sound exciting.
Is that
Sounds
12
like quite a crew.
Yeah.
Is that 12 hours during the day, or is that at
So
night?
it would be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, okay.
So we have certain scenes. We have 3 scenes that we're going to film. We have 2 scenes that are during the day, and then 1 scene that's at night. And that one that's at night is a little bit more half day, so that's why it's going a little bit longer into the nighttime. But yeah, so we would just be there for 12 hours. We have before and after photos. We keep the place exactly how it looks beforehand, or else I wouldn't be producing 7 films for nothing. But yeah, it's kind of
No fire,
Nope.
explosions,
Not even close. Nope.
stunts.
Blood.
How about, is there
Everyone
any-
clothed?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a nice way of putting it. I was going to ask, is there anything derogatory or violent
There
in nature, like that would be controversial or upsetting for?
So there's no contact. There is a instance where there is a little scuffle between 2 graffiti artists because it's considered like one guy's turf and the other one's there. But we have a fighting choreographer who is a stage combat choreographer. There's no contact happening at all.
And this is obviously going to be a set. So there's going to be
Yes.
lights, there's going to be cameras, and
There's
people
gonna be one
like.
camera. We're actually using a lot of the lights that are already at the location because there's a few lights that are overhead there, and we want to kind of really keep to that homage of the bike path in South Kingstown and keep it really like raw and vulnerable.
Yeah.
So we would probably have maybe like 1 or 2 lights that are our own, but that's what we have for the through the university, and we also have a certificate of insurance to make sure that
That's
nothing
good.
is damaged, nothing is on your folks or on our side, anything like that. So, yeah, definitely.
And then you clean up or take the wall with you after?
So it's
all
yes. So it's actually like it's just we would build it, and then we would take it off, and then there's nothing even closer that will be even on the wall itself. So it's just our own thing that we built because I wanted to make sure that there was nothing that would be left over for you folks. Yeah.
Did Rex talk with you about this? And he was in.
Yes, he did. He and I had a conversation. One of the other things that I want to point out is that this is on a Friday, not on a weekend day.
Oh, that's
which
good.
Was chosen specifically because there's less traffic on the bike path. The fact that it's on a winter day too, the traffic is much less than it would be in the spring. They're only using 1/2 of the bike path in that particular section, so the impact will be somewhat minimal in that people will still be able to get by. I'm assuming that there will be some, if there's filming, they may be seen as extras in the background, or else,
We
you
would
know.
have
honestly
cones?
don't even use them at all. We will put all of our equipment on that one side. They'll still be able to have free range on the other side. Yeah.
And we have the insurance rider from the University of
Which
Rhode
is
Island because
helpful.
they are students. So we feel like it's a win-win in being able to support students at URI,
Absolutely.
using the bike path, giving the bike path a little exposure.
Yes.
And having it be a win-win. And we are impressed with Lainey's attention to detail and really being very engaged and involved in terms of any concerns that we might have had for them to do this. So we're supportive of it.
That's wonderful.
Rain date?
Yeah. If it's bad weather.
For rain day, I don't have one picked out just because currently there are so many other film productions that are going on. It's about 14 film productions for this one semester. So if there is one, it would probably be during winter break, or spring break, which is between March 14th and the 19th, that like week.
Yeah.
So if there is anything, I can reach out as well and try to plan that accordingly.
And you wouldn't be able to do this if it's weather, raining or snowing.
Looks okay.
Just because of our equipment.
Yeah,
we want to make
right,
sure
it's
that
not-
nothing gets damaged.
Yeah.
I have been checking the forecast, like I'm a meteorologist myself, and doesn't seem like too bad at all currently, but it is a little bit out, so that's why.
Could add to the drama.
Totally.
Some
I know.
elements, right? And the rain dripping off the
Right,
face,
the
mixing
rain.
with the blood.
I have two concerns, but I think they're easily solvable. is parking, or I'm thinking, 'cause like they were making a film up by where I work, and the trucks and lights and cranes. Is parking or using that parking lot okay with them? Is that a concern? Or you just park on the street or wherever there's spots?
So I talked to, I emailed Rex about that. We would have 5 cars, and that is, and for all of our equipment. So we would have 2 cars for gear, we would have 1 car, and these are just like SUVs, they're not like trucks. And then we would have 1 for like food, and then 2 other cars just to shuttle people, so that people would be driving and like parking on like the main roads, like whatever is used usually, like in the town from like Brickley's in that area, or even the public parking behind the Contemporary Theater, and shuttling people that way. So it wouldn't be an issue.
And then I saw the filming in progress signs. Are there other signs, or will it be clear that people are welcome to use the bike path right there?
I have this down because I didn't exactly know. Rex said that filming in progress would be the best thing that we could put for the sign. So if you have something else, I mean, I can print something else out immediately.
We can come up with some language that will say,
perfect.
you know, bike path open,
Yeah.
filming in progress.
Perfect.
Even
Yeah.
that right there.
Yeah, awesome.
Just I want people to feel welcome, like you feel welcome, and anyone riding to or from, or walking, or dog or anything.
Bring, bring.
Yeah, right.
Cut.
Yeah. Sorry about
At
that.
the top. So I'll make a motion to approve the use of your request to use the Robinson Street overpass on February 28th.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right. Motion by Sean, seconded by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Your request has been approved, Laney, and we wish you much luck.
Thank you. I
And
do
you're
have
filming.
one thing to be signed for you or I, just so that they know that we're gonna be there. I've also brought my positivity pen.
And when will this be screened? Is this going to be?
This will be screened at the 496, right over here. Yeah. It's the senior capstone.
Use this?
Either one, whatever you would
Positive
like. It's going to be at Edwards Auditorium. That is at the university, and we don't have a specific date yet because we have to go through all the other like finals that use that location. But I'll make sure that I send out the memo to everybody.
That's good.
My aunt's gonna be there. She's actually a part of the town as well, Colleen Camp, so she's gonna be there as well. Yeah.
Colleen's
So,
excellent.
fun. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I've known Keith Brown
Oh my goodness.
for years, so.
He's my contact down here.
Awesome.
Oh, he's my favorite. I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow because I have our class tomorrow.
Nice.
So it's perfect.
Is this a film professor? Can I
Yeah.
assume?
Yes, he's been running this place for like 15, 20 years now, so.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Yep.
Chit chat, we go to Crazy Burger all the time and hang out.
He's a great guy.
For his birthday.
That's awesome.
Well, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, my email is on there. And
Oh, right.
Yeah, perfect. Well,
Thank you.
Totally.
Good luck,
Yeah, good luck.
Laney.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Have a fantastic rest of your evening.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Stay warm out there.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Break a
Appreciate
leg.
it.
All right. We also have an email from M. Previty, president of South Kingstown Little League, requesting permission to hang banners at Tuckertown Park. Oh, the banner conversation.
Yes.
We've had this before.
Yes, we have. So this one's a little different because Little League is also requesting to hang banners at West Kingston Park on the softball field, the secondary softball field, which is where the girls softball teams play. And Rex and I have spoken about this. No objection to hanging sponsor banners, although the banners would need to face, so if you're familiar with West Kingston Park, there's the walkway between the 2 fields. The banners would need to face the visitors, the walkway, so that it would be the attendees who would see the sponsor banners. They would not face towards Route 138. Because of the nature of that area being pretty rural,
Yeah.
we would prefer that any spot, and it makes more sense for the banners to face inward where the spectators are sitting. So that would be the only caveat to that request, would be if the commission were amenable to it, that they would have to face the spectators and not towards Route 138.
Yeah, I mean, that's a safety concern too, right? With drivers trying to make out the sign and driving, it'd be better.
Yeah, I agree,
Not
yes.
see
I agree.
what the ads
Because then
are.
you're trying to say, you're driving,
Oh,
and
yeah,
138,
isn't
you're
that
not
great?
leisurely
Exactly.
driving. And the other item,
The size? Oh, I
I'm
see,
sorry?
that's, the size is noted, and they would be
Oh.
uniform, right?
yes, they would be the same size as the ones at Tuckertown.
Good.
So they'd be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
The other request they have for Tuckertown is to hang sponsor banners on the batting cages. We don't have an objection to it necessarily. Little League relies on sponsorship dollars to help support the program.
And come down after the season.
They
I
come
mean,
down
it's,
at the end of the
yeah.
season. It's really, up to the commission if they felt like that might be overkill, but I think, it's part and parcel of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
The batting cages at Tuckertown?
The batting cages at Tuckertown.
Both of them? Just two, right?
There's two,
Yes,
they're
they
kind of
are
side by
asking
side.
for permission for both, it's plural here. He was talking about how they'd been approached about the scoreboard sign, but with only 2 scoreboards available, they're interested in doing the batting cages. Now, these are bigger banners, so they are larger. I think they're looking to run the length of the batting cage.
Oh,
So, it's larger than the typical ones that go on the outfield fence.
Good on the
It's
kids.
certainly the call
Uh,
of the commission.
So
Okay.
one would face inward towards the concession stand, right? Would the other face the
In the upper
field?
field?
aren't the
The-
aren't the batting cages kind of in the lower field for Tuckertown?
There's one there.
There's a batting
There's one in
cage for
each.
each,
Oh.
for each
Yes,
field.
yeah.
And so there would be one that would likely face the parking lot of the upper field, the first field
Okay.
that you come to. And I would
Oh,
assume
yes.
that the lower field would also have the same orientation in terms of
Yeah.
which way the banners face.
Mm.
It could infringe on viewing, I guess, spectator viewing. I don't know that a lot of people stand at the batting cage, but it looks right out onto the field, so that's
Yeah.
something, I think the Little League would have to.
Yeah, that'd be their problem, right? Yeah, I don't remember. You can't really see the game through the batting cage, like you really can't, so.
Most people
Yeah.
walk around
Is it-
them
You're
to
gonna
get
be
to
on the
one side or the
sides
other.
and, yeah,
Don't you think?
totally.
A bunch of parents will hang between the dugout and the batting cage in that
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
20-foot
Yes.
area right there, right by the gate.
Absolutely.
That was my
There's a-
spot.
yeah,
I loved
there's a-
it
there's a
there.
crowd.
Yeah. I
So-
mean,
Looks like it would be like a 5x10.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have
10
any
feet,
concerns.
So it would cover the length of
Yeah.
the fence, more or less.
I don't love the height, the 5 feet. I mean, just. But I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Can certainly go back to Little League, there's plenty of time, it's only February, if we wanna have a further discussion or have them be present at a meeting so they can explain, we can certainly do that. It's entirely up to the commission.
I'm in support of them finding sponsorship and helping cover costs, and especially if they're going to be marking the fields. I'm fine with that. Just get a little cave-like in there. You're just thinking like 5 foot high, all around at least one side of it.
Like
Yeah,
a
I'm
rack.
not keen on having a really big, huge banner there either.
Yeah.
I would prefer to to be like a uniform size to what we have going. I just don't want it to turn into like a big billboard too,
Yeah.
you know, but,
I mean, they decide what sponsors, right? And then I think the only concern would be if it's going to be an AAU academy advertising in a 5 by whatever banner at the Little League to potentially draw players away from the town leagues into AAU. But again, they're going to be controlling this. They're sort of the gatekeepers. They're deciding what content goes on these banners,
Yeah.
like you say. And it's all like that I mean, that's the Little League spot, like between even both.
yeah.
Like that's the crowd, that's the audience, that's who'd be looking at the banners and supporting the teams and stuff. So I don't have any issue whatsoever. Any concerns with like setting a precedent for something like that? I mean, they always have banners every year. They usually do it along the
Well, they do.
outfield
They do.
fence,
They
right?
go
They
along
do it
the
at the
outfield
waves.
fence, they
Like
do
this
it
is
with
just
the
a
waves.
common thing.
But it does come up, and we've been careful, and the commission has been careful about controlling just how much, creep there is in terms of, advertisement and promotional. So it's a balance of allowing for these leagues to be able to support themselves
Yeah.
by selling sponsorships and keeping a kind of a traditional looking baseball field environment. But I have to say that most baseball fields you go to today have sponsorship banners
I mean,
hung
Yeah.
all over the place.
they have ads on the pitching mound.
I would like to
Yeah,
point
good
out
point.
too that I omitted it. They were also talking about the Curtis Corner softball field because the softball league
Okay.
uses that field as well. Again, that field I don't see an issue with. It's not facing a roadway. It's tucked up and back in the park, so they can put them on the outfield fence with no issues. But I did want to point out that they did ask for permission for Curtis Corner softball as well.
Is it a hassle to go back? Like, I would feel a lot more comfortable if it was a little bit small, if it was 4 feet tall as opposed to 5 feet. But
We're going from 3 by 5 to 5 by 10 in a more prominent
Oh, I see it right there.
location. 3 by 5 is the consistent size of banners that we've allowed in the previous years.
oh, I see.
So this is a jump. And I know I'm sure need to make money. I don't want to discourage that because all of them need to stay afloat. But I also don't want to, have the parks look like Sign City, billboards, banners.
You can certainly consider a motion to approve the softball if you're comfortable with those banners, and then ask that they revisit the size of the banners they're proposing for the batting cages.
Yeah, I mean, at least some clarity. The banner would be slightly bigger and no more than 5 by 10.
It's basically 2 together. So they would just come back and do 2 banners instead of the one big one, right?
I guess. Yeah.
In fact, it's actually slightly smaller, right? So it's 36. Oh no.
3
Yeah,
by
slightly
5 is
smaller.
the current banners we've approved. 5 by 10 is not quite double, but almost. So,
That's what I'm saying. Like, what would stop them? Just okay, we can't do the biggest size, so we can just do
Yeah.
2 smaller ones, which would actually take up more space.
Maybe making money for you.
Yeah.
well, is
Getting
there anything to
sponsorships.
say, is there only one 5 by 10 banner, or is it multiple? I mean, I don't really know. We would offer.
Well, it would probably, if it's a 10-foot long banner,
Mhm.
right, is that what we're looking at? It would take up the better part of this one side of a batting cage, and it would be only the side facing out. So I think that there's only 2 locations, right?
Yeah.
2 batting cages, 2 locations.
Okay.
What if I made a motion to approve West Kingston, Curtis Corner, and then asked for clarity on their idea for the batting cages. Would that be
That's an absolutely
fair?
fine motion, yes.
I like that.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve their request for the banners at West Kingston and Curtis Corner and Tuckertown outfield, and to ask for clarity and to revisit their plans for the batting cage banners.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motioned by John, seconded by Sean. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, I think that works. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just, if they had like a specific plan, I think I would feel better.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
think that's a very reasonable request. I thought there might be someone here
Okay.
to speak on it, but I'm sure Little League will be happy to send somebody to the next meeting.
Fair.
They're very cooperative and, want to do what's best.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for them. We got our kids we
Definitely.
got the gloves out this weekend.
Yeah, love to see Little League. They're a great organization. I want them to succeed. But want to be careful with our parks too. All right, shall we move on to the monthly financial report?
Okay, you have separate, I separated out the financial report so it's easier to see.
Thank you.
And not two-sided, so that may make it a little bit easier as well. Just to run through this quickly, you'll note in our revenue, we'll start with our programming revenue. You'll see we're just about, 1.7% behind where we were last time this year. I'll draw your attention to the first column of numbers. At the bottom, there's a new section called deferred revenue. And with our new Civic Rec software, we have the accounting methods set up, and I'm not the finance officer, so forgive me, but we are having any programming registration fees that come in for a program that hasn't happened yet. The revenue remains deferred, and it does not go into one of the allocated accounts until that program actually happens. So I signed up for a music class for next week, paid my money. It sits in a deferred revenue fund until I take the class, and then it triggers that it goes into the NAP school revenue account. So in the interest of showing you what revenue hasn't hit an account yet because the program hasn't happened, this is new for us. So you can
That's interesting.
see that there's $13,325 as of the end of January that hasn't been assigned to a program revenue account yet because the program hadn't or hasn't happened to date. But I wanted to be able to reflect how much total revenue we have brought in by showing that deferred revenue. So that's the number I'm using up at the top to show the difference between last year and this year. And then at the end of February, that number will change and it'll only reflect deferred revenue based on, at the time of the report, right? So it's constantly changing.
What were you doing with this deferred revenue beforehand?
It was hitting the revenue accounts. So
Okay.
it was going in, if I paid for music lessons for 3 months in advance, it's going right into that account. So the difference is now, which is helpful on the finance side, that it's actually hitting. It's almost like when you have a gift card, a restaurant doesn't realize that money. They sold the gift card, but they don't realize it as a revenue until you use the gift card to buy a meal. Same concept. But anyway, we're in pretty good shape. I think overall, and I've kind of reiterated this over the past few months, is we're seeing that that leveling off, stabilization, after post-COVID when we spiked really high. And we, like I said last month, we also have seen, a dip in some of the youth programming numbers because the number of youth is decreasing as well. So we had less participants in our rec basketball program. Some of our, I think our flag football program was down a bit. It's just that demographic is smaller now in town. We see that in the school, in the school population. But overall, I think we're doing very well. On the facility net revenue, you can see we're still down from last year. Not really concerned about that. I think we've started selling beach passes, so we'll see some revenue tick up in the town beach fund. Our rental income for park rental, we anticipate seeing an uptick. I think I mentioned last month as well that we're doing some bill collecting for some outstanding rentals that have languished a little bit, and we're trying to get our customers who rent up to speed, because we can now flag those accounts, and when they go to try to rent a field again, they won't be able to rent a field again because we know they still have an outstanding invoice. So that's Civic Rec is helpful in that regard as well.
That sounds great.
And 2 quick questions, I'm sorry. Rec center rental income, am I reading this as they're doing really well?
They are doing really well. So they're exceeding budget on the rental income for the rec center.
With a few months to go, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, as it gets warmer, we balance out. We don't have quite as many rentals, but our rec center manager, Steve Grunberg, does a fabulous job with where there's time available, it's an opportunity to rent it, right?
Yeah.
We do see that we rent on weekends, Sundays. Skyba rents, the South Kingstown Youth Basketball Association, which is the travel league. We have a number of AAU programs that rent the courts, and it's interesting because they'll rent later in the evening too. I mean, depending on the age, but typically if they're teenage basketball players, they have no problem renting at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. So we're seeing that, which is good. It helps us too. And it's like a hockey, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And sorry, one other quick question. The deferred revenue, does that include, have summer camp signups started yet?
No, not yet. You're in that wheelhouse though.
Yeah.
Summer camp signups start, I want to say later in March. And you're going to see that number go up. And we will also have a lot of our deferred revenue for summer camps defers into the next fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
We take registrations in this fiscal year. That goes until June 30th. Most of our camps aren't until July and August. So we see a big number, but it'll get deferred. So I'll have to figure out how to report that, because that's gonna throw this off, and it looks like we're gonna be exceeding revenue, when in fact, a lot of that will be pushed right to the next fiscal year. So, but for now, no, we haven't started summer camp registrations. We're in the process of doing our summer camp brochure and ramping up. It's right around the corner. Good question, though.
Thanks.
And then on the outside revenue funds, we are at about 50%. Again, these are, most of these funds are, we get the allocations from the finance department on a cycle that they use. Obviously, the largest is the Guild Trust Fund income at $503,000. So we're at the 50% mark, which is where we should be. We just, we're in the third quarter now, so maybe at the end of March or the beginning of April, you'll see that quarterly allocation there. Investment income, we continue to do very well with. You'll see the Guild investment income at 306% and the rec center investment income. Fingers crossed that stays high. I don't know what will happen there. We budget very conservatively when when we list, proposed amounts for investment income, but we are reaping the benefits, over the past few years anyways. And then if we go to the next page, these are our expenditures. And we are, on the general fund side, we're at 55% of total budget, which is, that's where we should be when we're, 1 month into the third quarter. You'll notice we're 17.6% higher than we were at this time last year. A lot of that had to do with some vacant positions that hadn't been filled. But overall, if you look at the various cost centers, you'll see like our admin is at 60%, park maintenance 49%. We're really okay there. You'll see leisure services is at 76%. That's because most of that money gets spent in the summer. That's Discovery Camp, that's our 4th of July event, so that one doesn't get parsed out in a level fashion month over month. The Guild, we're under 50% right now, that's good. PDOB, we're at 67%. And the rec center, we're just under 50% as well. So I don't have any concerns about us being over budget as I look to the end of the fiscal year. I think we'll be right where we should be with maybe a little surplus. Any questions? And then just accounts to monitor. These haven't changed. These were some of the ones that we were concerned about earlier in the year, like our overtime because of parks not having seasonal employees, but we simply shifted the seasonal salary funds into the overtime account and covered it there. But I just like for you to be aware of where we're at. We did award a printing bid just this last town council meeting, so printing costs have gone up. We'll see that next year. So we've budgeted accordingly for higher printing costs of the brochure. But we'll make it through this year within budget. The CDOB is doing just fine. And then our Friends account, just a little bit of activity in January. The second column shows we took in $850 for the skate park fundraising. That group is really motivated, and they were supposed to meet with Rex today, so they've rescheduled that to give an update on the bowl, not the bowl, the half pipe project that they're involved with. And then we had some expenditure out of the bench and tree program. Rex has been doing some purchasing of benches, and they installed a couple of benches before the holidays, I believe. So that's the $3,491. Yeah, that's the activity.
Dog park activity, action, issues, concerns?
Well, it's winter, so it's kind of quiet, and we haven't heard anything from any of the dog park folks at this point. But we do have funds in there that,
Yeah.
The commission agreed to, or the Friends agreed to take back on. I'm sure that in the spring, we'll start to see some activity, and we'll hear from our users, which is good. It's a good way for us to know if things need to be addressed at the park.
Yeah.
Even though our guys are there regularly, once mowing season starts, it's before then, like in the spring, we'll have drainage issues more than likely. So we'll need to address that. Maybe the fences, things like that.
They still have the same, is it a committee or team or?
I don't get the sense that there's a
Group.
cohesive group at the moment, but I think that will reform once the warm weather
Yeah.
comes and they see that there might be a particular need. In spring, they usually kind of circle the wagons to put hay out so that it doesn't get really mucky and muddy, and they can
Yeah.
use the park. But no, nothing as of late. numbers when we get to the new business for the budgets, the PDOB and, the Guild and,
Can I have a motion to approve the monthly financial report?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion by John, seconded by Sean. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The monthly financial reports are approved. Old business A, Old Mountain Capital, project status, Old Mountain Field.
Yes, just quickly, we opened the revised bids on last Friday, late afternoon. These were the 3 low bidders of the original RFP, and we went back because they were all over budget. Went back, did some modifications to the plans, asked for alternates to be separated out, and one of the big ones was the seating area next to the concession building that would have been at the baseball field, because that was one of the big ticket items. There were some modifications made to the plan to kind of shrink the seating area a bit if we were able to keep it in. That Randy Collins from Beta Group modified it just a bit, not a great deal, but a couple of other things that were removed or modified was the stormwater management component, which lessened the some of the expenses, and we got the bids back. We have bids that we can work with. The low bid for just the base project was $3,029,000. We have funding from ARPA, from Capital Improvement Project Reserve Funds, around $2.9 million. And the alternate piece of this bid, which was separate, was $749,000, and that includes the seating area for the baseball field. We are all of the opinion, as I think most everybody would be, that if we're gonna do this project, this phase 1A, that we ought to do the whole thing and do it right, because we're not gonna get a second bite at the apple for a very long time with the school building project, with a number of different capital infrastructure projects that are going on. There have been discussions at the council level about the recreation impact fees, the Fair Share Development Fee Fund, which is in excess of $1 million right now. And I strongly believe that those funds can be utilized to help us get to be able to do the whole project. Looking to try to have a recommendation to the town council. If not for next Monday, it would be the following council meeting.
Very exciting.
So we're really looking forward to completing this leg of the journey.
Oh my gosh,
and
yes.
moving on to being able to actually put a shovel in the ground.
Wonderful.
So it's very exciting, and we've been very patient. You've been very patient. The community's been very patient, but I think if we can get over this hump, we'll see some good things within the next year. So we'd like to have it done before the summer of 2026.
That would be amazing.
Anyway, that's that update.
Good news.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And old business item B, we are going to ask to table till next month for Rex to be able to talk about. Is that correct?
Yeah, Rex has been working very closely with Megan O'Brien from Emmy O'Brien and Sons, and they've got some conceptual designs that he wants to be able to present, and he needs to present it, not me.
Yeah.
He's been hands-on with this from the get-go. So we have some time, so we can do it in March, and the weather is still not ideal for anything more than presenting. So if that's okay with the commission, we can table that.
Sounds good. Move on to new business, item A, a special use, we already covered that. So item item B, the proposed neighborhood guild for recreation center and Peacedale office building operating budgets. More.
Yes, so I'll move through these quickly, and then you all can tell me if you have any questions. These are the proposed budgets for the FY 25-26 year. These are estimates, as the town budget personnel and benefits lines have not been fully established. They're still a work in progress, although these are pretty darn close, so there shouldn't be a lot of shifting. We'll start with the Peacedale office building. The budget is proposed at $110,963. It's really the operating budget for running the building. There are some personnel and benefits numbers associated with this fund, and that really is for a percentage of my involvement in managing the building, the finance director's involvement. Rex has a little, like, I'm talking like 3% of total salary and benefits. So we apply some of what we do to that building because we manage it, we run it, we operate it. There's not a lot of, changes to this. It's really all operating. It's keeping the lights on and heat and utilities and building maintenance. And then on the revenue side, primarily it's our rental income. It's all of our tenants in the building that generate the revenue. We do have the Cycle SK program on the 3rd floor. They rent the exercise studio for their spin classes, and that's primarily what that recreation self-support revenue line is. And we generate some, modest investment income, and that gets us to the $110,964. We do have the pottery studio in the PDOB, but that is a guild-based program, so it falls into the guild budget. That's why you don't see it here. But, any questions on Peacedale office building? Okay.
Looks good.
The next page is just the detail on the tenants, so you
Oh,
can
okay.
see
Yep.
who rents.
Nice.
Next, we have the rec center budget.
I'm sorry, is it fully rented at the moment too?
It is fully rented.
Oh, good.
Yep, we are
That's
looking,
great.
The office currently rented by Neil Philbin. He's looking for a subletter.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, because he still has a lease agreement with us, although he has, I believe he's moved out of the building. He's still paying rent. So if we can find a subletter, we'll take them on.
Great.
The rec center budget is coming in at $844,675. That's about a 6.5% increase. 7.6% increase over the current year. Again, we're looking at mainly personnel and benefits driving this budget. Some of the other items that have increased, I'm just trying to see where we are. I think we've allocated, we allocated some of the expenses for civic rec in this budget, but I'm not sure we have. It might be in professional services.
Training?
Employee training?
Yeah, is that part of the Rec Pro?
No, what that is, that's for staff trainings on various career, skill set, growing skills for staff at the rec center. Nothing really out of the ordinary. We do have, at the very bottom, transfer to other funds, $85,000. What that is that's our capital. It's our capital reserve for the rec center. So in the capital budget, we've got things like a flooring replacement reserve, we've got HVAC reserve funds, things that we know we're gonna need. And so, we carry that. So that'll go into the capital fund and stay there. It does come out of the Community Recreation Center Fund 308, but once it gets into capital, it sits. And so we'll build that up for whatever projects that we have, coming down the pike. That's good. On the revenue side, I'm not sure why this came out on the landscape, but a couple of these did that. You'll see, the major account that I wanna point to is the general fund transfer, because this is the tax dollars that go to support the rec center. So you'll see that we're requesting $440,055. That's about a 7.2% increase. We try to be very mindful when we're budgeting our programming revenue and our rental revenue. I don't wanna say we're conservative, because if you look at our rental revenue, we're going up 25%, and that's based on what we know now. Last year, in 23-24, we actually took in $56,714. So we're bringing that more in line with what we see happening this year and what we realized in 23-24. And then on the program revenue side, we're adjusting downward just a bit. The thing I will say about the program revenue is we also have on the flip side, in the expense line, professional services. What we don't make in program revenue, we save in professional services because we're not paying instructors. So it's a little bit of an estimating, and we base our programming numbers off of previous years and what we're doing. And Steve has also included an increase on the personnel side for the rec center for the part-time staff. We are very in tune now to the fact that we really need to be competitive in order to retain our staff. So the 8% increase, for the part-time salaries, 3.5% increase is reflective of an increase in the hourly wage for our rec specialists, so that we can. Any questions? Okay, moving on to the neighborhood guild. So we have several cost centers for the neighborhood guild. The overall budget, we're looking at for FY 25-26. It'll be the first year we tipped the $1 million mark in terms of what we're proposing for a budget for the guild. It's $1,014,996. That's about a 5.4% increase. On the first page of that budget, you'll see our admin and maintenance cost center is going up by about 3.3%. Again, this is where all the personnel and benefits lies in the guild budget, so that's what this is reflective of. Just as a reminder, many of the staff who work within the guild, their benefits and salary are split 50-50 between the guild fund and the general fund. So, like Lenka, Linda, Noel, Chloe, all of their positions are half funded through this budget. Just as an FYI. And then let me just make sure. So on the computer software maintenance, this is where you'll see the increase of about $9,000. This is our Civic Rec. So because it's cloud-based, it's a higher cost. Again, that license and software fees are split between the guild and the general fund.
So that would be, the 30,000?
Yeah, it's close to 30,000.
That's annual fee for that?
Correct. There's a couple of other things in there too, by the way, so it's more like, I wanna say it's closer to 27,000. We have some other software fees that we pay for other town, software.
Sounds like it's been worth it so far.
Yeah, it's definitely got some features that really are helly are helping us
21st century.
manage better.
Yeah, good.
And then as we move into our programming cost centers, the front desk, this is really just the salary and benefits for our part-timers that work in the evenings and no longer on the weekends, but late afternoon shifts and evening shifts. So this is actually going down a little bit. We've had some changes in our schedules, so we're able to manage it a little better. And based on what we've spent in 2023, 24 and budgeted in 24, 25, so we think we'll be fine moving forward with this budget for 25, 26 for the front desk. The trip program, this one looks a little funky. We're still slowly but surely trying to reestablish our trip program, and we're looking at a budget of $15,005, mostly in rents. That is tour buses, basically. The youth program, we're seeing a big bump in the youth program up to $91,843, and what we've done for this 25, 26 years, if you recall last summer, we did 3 weeks of discovery camp here at the Guild. Those were the 3 weeks also that we funded free camp for eligible kids through the Johnny Cake Center. We did not budget it that way last year. We're actually applying the budget to the Guild budget because that's where the camp runs, and we want it to reflect as such. We also are able to utilize the Guild funds to pay for those camp fees for the kids that are coming to camp, that are eligible at no charge. So it's a good, I think it's a good setup so that we're able to actually benefit by using the Guild funds for local youth that might not be able to go to camp. And so that's what you're seeing here,
That's
is that big jump. The music program, NAP school, it's picking back up. We have more teachers than we've had in several years, and we're looking at a $95,000, $728 budget for 25, 26. The adult programs, those are like, you saw dog obedience in the gym tonight, and furniture refinishing, and those types of programs, knitting, those fall under adult programming. And so we're looking at just about a level funded budget for 25, 26. And the arts program, this is where I was talking about the pottery studio. What's the pottery studio, painting classes, craft classes, things like that. We're looking at a little adjustment downward at $70,484 to bring us to a total of the $1,014,969. That's the expense side, and then if you flip the page, here are our revenues. Each programming cost center has balances with the revenue that we'll be bringing in. The trust income, we will be seeking about a 2%. I think it's a little higher than that with the new personnel numbers, but they're not reflective here when I did this report. But we will be looking at a little bump in the trust income, and from what I understand, that is not an issue as far as the finance department is. They analyze it, they look at the unassigned fund balance, and they help us determine what's reasonable in terms of what should be used for the operating budget. So that's the Guild budget. Any questions?
When will you be presenting this?
So this gets presented the first week of March. There are 2 work sessions scheduled with the town council. One is for department heads and municipal departments, and the second one is for the school department. So generally speaking, the town, and sometimes it takes longer than not, but the town department heads present their budgets in one evening at a work session, and then the school department presents its budget the next night. And I think it's March 3rd and 4th, Monday, Tuesday.
Hmm.
If you got nothing better to do, you come by on the Monday night, that's when we're presenting, I believe.
Good luck. They look good.
Thank you.
I found, I think, a mistake.
Okay.
Does that, you want me to tell you now or later?
Yeah, you can point it out.
It's way back.
In-
The people who are renting the Peacedale office building,
Yeah.
the waves, and again, I don't know if this matters, but if you're showing it to other people, the waves, the average monthly payment is $5,000. And then I think it's I
Oh,
can,
yeah. So this column is incorrect, right? This is the
What?
detail and the backup.
and then maybe the violin, actually, now I'm looking at it.
Yes, those are annual. Those are not, that's pulling, those are pulling from the wrong, cell.
But some of them are maybe
Correct.
right.
That's correct, yeah. Go back and look at those. Thank you. Good catch, John.
Really? Eagle
Mark
eye.
Noble would be proud, is that what? is
He
that his
would.
name?
Yes, he would. Thank you for pointing that out.
Mm. Other than that, I love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Better now than at the presentation to the town.
Yes, correct.
Do we vote on that?
Oh, yes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve,
Motion by Sean,
I second-
minus the corrections that you're
Mhm.
making.
I second that.
seconded by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The proposed financial operating budgets are approved.
Thank you.
And old business, right, new business, item C, we already discussed, the banners at Little League. So we're all set there, and we can move on to new business, item D, about the town beach parking lot for public parking.
Yes, this item, I'm sorry, I jumped in. This item was requested to be added for discussion by the town council back when we presented our capital budget. The beach was part of the capital budget, and we've talked about a number of different things, and one of the things that came up, kind of not related to the capital budget, but more the challenges down in Matunic with parking, was, is it possible to utilize the town beach lot for public parking, whether out of season, in season, just anything on the table, and what potential options there might be for revenue generation at the town beach. And at the time, I wasn't really focused on the town beach parking operation so much as I was on the capital budget, but this has come up before in terms of how can the town help alleviate some of that parking along Matunic Beach Road, particularly for the businesses that are along Matunic Beach Road. Every summer it's a challenge. People get ticketed because they're parked where they shouldn't be. So there's some, there's some value in trying to figure out if the beach parking lot could be a viable solution. During the summer, it's really not, the beach parking lot is the beach parking lot. We charge to park, so it already is a revenue generating operation.
Right.
The town doesn't care whether you're parking to go to the beach or parking to go to the restaurant down the road, right? Anybody can pay to park in the
Right.
beach parking lot. It's first
We
come,
choose to
first
do what we
served.
do.
So in that regard, it's already a revenue generator.
Okay.
In the summer also, one of the things that we do at night is the gate at the beach lot is locked at 9:00. So that becomes problematic if people were to park in the lot and be going to a late dinner, and come back and find at, 9:30 that their car's locked in the parking lot. So there've been some discussions about how we might be able to manage that. we've talked with Chief Moynihan from the police department about whether or not there's a way to maybe move leave the gate open, but put a cable after the very first lot when you drive in, so that only one lot is left open at night and the others are closed off because there's a cable there, right? So that if somebody were coming for dinner down the road, there would be parking available, and at night, we just don't charge. I mean, it would be open. So that's a conversation that we've had with the chief, because unfortunately, it falls to the police department to manage all of that issue along Matunic Beach Road in the high season, in the late spring, through all the summer, and well into the fall. So that's one of the issues. In the off-season, the lot is open, so there's parking available. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't know, if they're not from around here, is that there's a parking lot there. So unless you don't see it until you actually pull in to know that there's parking there. We could put signage up that says public parking in the off-season. So it would just be open. It wouldn't be a revenue generator. It would just be beach parking lot is open. Maybe one, maybe two, because in the off-season, we have typically only left the lot open that's closest to the beach. Rex and his guys put boulders to obstruct entrance into the other lots because they're grass. They get torn up. It's just hard to monitor because people come in and, tear up the turf. So, so in the off-season, there's parking. Do we want to generate revenue? It's one of those things, right? The beach is also a public park. So how do you distinguish between people who want to park and, avail themselves of the businesses on Matunic Beach Road, and who wants to come and just visit the park in October when it's lovely and they can go sit on the beach, they can walk on the beach, whatever. So these are the discussions we've been having, Rex and Lenka and I, and there's no easy solution. I think while it might not be a revenue generator, maybe just advertising that the lot is open in the off seasons will encourage people to park there rather than park in an illegal spot on Matunic Beach Road.
What's the lot that's across the street from the wall?
Mary Carpenter's.
Okay, and they charge. I noticed last week we went down and there was nobody there and it was blocked off.
They charge in the summer.
In the summer,
yeah.
What do they do
Season,
in
they
the
definitely
winter time?
charge.
What do they do off season?
I think they're
Keep it
closed. I
closed?
think it's closed just like the whole
Okay.
campground is closed. I think it's seasonal residences.
So that leaves along the wall. I was down there last weekend and there were many spaces parked where the people shouldn't have been parking. Is that ticketing going to be ramped up if we open and advertise parking is available in the beach lot? Is my one question. My other question is very far.
It's a long walk.
If you're talking to like the pub or Ocean Mist, I mean, that's a hike.
Well, there is a path from you don't have to go back out and around to where you pulled your car in. There's a couple of paths, walking paths,
Yeah.
Behind the
down by the
Vanilla Bean?
Vanilla Bean that get you that much
My
closer.
point is, no one's going to park there anyway. Like, we could put signs and, hey, there's parking down there. They're still going to park in front of the no parking and take their chances.
We had a little bit of that discussion too, that some people wouldn't want to walk that far. I'm not sure how we would be able to generate revenue because
You need a body.
as a park,
Like, how would that even work?
and because we're a park, it's open to the public so that they can visit any time of year, not just in the summer. In the summer is when we charge. So I'm open to, it's really for you all to discuss.
Yeah.
That was the request. I'm just giving you kind of a frame of reference when we started to talk about it. We'd love to generate more revenue. If it could go to offsetting the beach operations, we would love to, but it becomes, we already are.
Yeah, becomes a lot to manage.
And not just the management side, it's how will the public feel? the public that's not coming to dine out, but the public that's coming to visit the park. So
It's not going
There's
to
the
go well at all. I mean, look at what happened in Narragansett, and they tried to institute a 3-hour parking limits,
Right.
and they had the police kids issuing tickets, and it was like this huge uproar. But I don't think it was handled well. So I think if we did anything like that, we would need to be pretty transparent about what those funds are used for and why we're charging. First of all. Second of all, how do you enforce it? Is it gates? Is it a body and a booth there, just like in the summer? Would it be QR code, scan this, if you don't, you get a ticket kind of thing?
So we've had discussions with the chief, who actually proposed the option of a QR code. It's called Park Mobile. It's a, you've probably seen them before in your travels, where it's simply a QR code and you pay to park and you go in and park. We've had those discussions with the chief and how that might work for after hours if we were able to keep a lot open and allocated. We've talked about it for Moonstone Beach Road, because that's where people have to go to the town beach to buy a day pass. It's more of a convenience than,
Yeah.
it's not gonna generate more revenue, it's just gonna ensure that we get the revenue, whether they come and buy a day ticket at the town beach and then go park there, or they can just go there, scan the QR code and pay online. We're gonna capture there, but it has to be monitored, because
Yeah.
that's where the CSOs from the police department come in season. They would be checking the vehicles. There's a way to check the app to say, yep, this vehicle's, paid, and they're parking here. You check the registration. And if it's not in the system, they haven't paid to park, they get issued a ticket. So I used it in Florida last week. Simple, if you've got a device, if you're, you know how to use QR codes. We are looking at that in terms of efficiency for right now, looking at maybe being able to use that for Moonstone Beach Road this summer, rather than making people go to the gate and buy a day.
Yeah.
It just makes it
That could be
easier
like a pilot.
for everybody.
Kind of pilot program.
People can still buy a beach pass, a sticker, and they've had that, they don't have to do anything. But if they're just going for a day and they don't have that. So there's a couple of layers to this discussion. One is whether or not the beach, whether we can generate revenue outside of the summer season at the beach parking lot, or will that cause more of an issue with the general public for being able to visit the beach? And two, looking at upgrading our technology for
Yeah.
parking, because it's too soon to do that this year for Park Mobile, but if it works for Moonstone Beach Road, it could be something that we implement at the gate as another option for
Yeah.
people to pay. So, a couple of layers here, but I did want to make sure you had kind of a frame of reference, and you've had some discussion, but no, you don't have to vote on anything. It's just about what your take is.
I mean, I'm all in favor of generating revenue. We need to, right? I mean, we just looked at the numbers, and the expenses are up, revenue's down. All across the board. Like, we need to do that. I'm not really in favor of charging after hours for beach access. I think that would be a huge issue, as it always is, the beach access. So here we are charging to access the beach. However, I am in favor of parking at overflow for ocean mist. Maybe we start charging at 8 o'clock, for instance, after the sun goes down, something like that 5 to 8 period. Narragansett doesn't charge. It's a huge boon for them. We could do ways to get people there and generate
In
revenue
the
in
off
another
season
way.
or in season? Like
In season.
in season?
In season, right? So we're talking between the time the beach, you stop charging, it's just free and open, right, until 9 o'clock as it is now.
Mhm.
Like, I could see not charging that, but maybe finding another way to generate revenue, whether it be food truck night or whatever. Some of the things that they do in Narragansett Town Beach, which generates a lot of people, and they go. But that's also because the beach is so expensive during the day. Then it's that free time. We know how to do that. But the overflow for the bars, I mean, that's kind of different, right? So that's an area where we could utilize. We have this extra space. Yes, it's a walk, but you have to park, but you're not going to park illegally. You're going to find a space to park. I mean, that's the problem too. Yeah, I'd park, or a lot of people would, not me, but a lot of people would park illegally in front of a no parking sign. But if there's no spaces at all, your only place to park is at the town beach. You know, that could be something that we could look into charging with.
Has the owner been involved in the conversations? I mean, brainstorming? Because, I mean, their businesses are really putting a lot
I
of
think-
pressure on the parking.
I'm not
You're right.
100% positive.
That's what I was
do
gonna
know
say.
Exactly.
that there has been some discussion, I know, with the police, and I believe at the council level, just that there's an issue with parking on Matuna Beach Road.
Totally.
And how can we work together to?
It's
to-
amazing.
to
I mean, there's like 20
mitigate
spots
it?
there. That place can fit hundreds.
Right.
Like, where do they all
Yeah.
park?
Even just driving by there is a little frightening.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever driven by like at 9 o'clock at night. Like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
cars
Yeah, it's
stopped,
nuts.
double
Both sides, yeah.
parked.
Exactly.
There's people walking back and forth and calling, and it's
The needs there.
it's tough.
I'm
It's
I'm-
a tough area. I mean, it's wonderful that they are bringing in so much business,
Mm.
and it's great that it's that popular,
Mm.
but it's a very narrow little passageway,
it's tricky.
and it gets really bottlenecked.
I am reluctant to use the beach for revenue at times when it's currently free. For like a bunch of reasons. Like if I want to go to a beach, I'll go to one of the other 15 free beaches around on like that 65-degree day in November. Or like we've parked a deep hole to go to the Ocean Mist instead of the town. Like, you know, like we've parked on the other side. So I feel like there are other options that are free. And Sean would just park illegally. You know, like there's something to that as well. I would just look for free parking elsewhere as opposed to paying for the town beach parking.
Like, even if we did it, no one would use it, basically.
Yeah, I wonder about that, and I don't know if it's worth the few $100s or $1,000 we would make, because, and I forget there's a word for this, but when something has been free and then you start charging, there's a huge backlash. So if it were $5 to park, I would rather increase something else $5 than go from $0 to $5 here.
Right.
See, I would love to see some partnering with the business owners to do a little like a
Shuttle.
trolley or shuttle back and forth, and help. For his part, I think he should be looking at ways to alleviate parking too, because it's problematic for his businesses.
And and I believe
and I
he
think-
is, like, there have been conversations, so I don't want the impression to
Yeah.
be that there hasn't been any discussion. There has been.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it would be great if we could, I don't know, I mean, I agree, I think if we charge, I would feel uncomfortable if people did want to come to the beach, or if it was already free, why would we start charging now? I just feel like, I mean, it's kind of going down
I think
a
one of
tough
the-
path. But I think if there was some sort of a concerted effort as a community that, hey, we're going to provide shuttling, and he wants to work with us, or, you know,
Yeah, I'd rather.
something that could make this work for the community and the patrons and his business. He, you know, I don't know. I just think that would be
Could
better.
could they rent the lot?
You read my mind. I think there's a bit of this that you've had requests in the past during the holiday season, right? Can we use the lot for the purpose of the holiday stroll, Matunic holiday stroll? And typically that has not been a problem, that the commission says yes. And again, that's a community event, so it wasn't like we charged, but if in the off-season, the opportunity arose, or someone came and said, let's say the Matunic Community Center was having a big event, and they didn't have enough parking. There's opportunities there, like on one-off occasions in the off-season, to be able to say, okay, yeah, the town beach is available, you gotta have your own insurance, and you can rent it for X amount of dollars. I can see that being a possibility.
Yeah.
On the big occasions, whatever they might be, I don't
Bands
know.
that they bring in, maybe they know
Yeah.
certain occasions.
And I think in the off-season.
And then they could rent a lot as well as
yeah,
a shovel,
even if it's
perhaps?
just, there's still the public, there's 3 lots, right?
Or they could provide the QR code and say, hey, we can get you parking down there.
So there could still be public parking
Mhm.
in the off-season, because it's not as busy. And I don't think I'd do it in September, and through the middle of October might be a stretch too, because it's still, you get those nice days on the weekends. But
I mean, the only way would be a nominal fee, $1, and this is literally going for sand. Like, you're paying for sand or whatever, like some kind of expense. It's just not some general way that we're making money. Like, this is the offset the charge, the increasing costs of, I'm using sand as an example, but pick one,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Like, this is where this money is going. Like, it's just not going to be a big revenue generator no matter what we do anyway. And then it's just a matter of, is this worth it? Well, yeah, if we can tie it towards,
Right.
beautifying the beaches or the equipment, the playground, the
Yeah.
pavilion even.
Right.
Like, this is where your money is going, and we be as transparent as possible. Put a webpage on. This is how much we've raised, and you have the little thermometer thing. And thanks to your efforts, this is where we're at. We're going to use this money. We're going to.
I do think that, it didn't come to me quickly enough at the capital budget hearing, is that, the parking is there. People can park there if they want to park there. Doesn't do anything for revenue, but if the challenge is parking and getting people off of Matunic Beach Road so that they're not getting ticketed, between Labor Day and Memorial Day, anybody can park at the beach for free. We could make it easier for people to know that. We could put signage. We could ask the business owners to put signage that says, can't find a parking space? The town beach has parking, free parking,
Yeah.
so that it raises the awareness. It just becomes during those summer months. And again, even in the summer months, you want to pay to park? You going for lunch? You can park at the beach. Like, we don't care where you go. Pay to park, walk down to the restaurant.
Then walk the beach.
At the very least, I mean, is
Stumble.
it possible to close the gate later? And is it possible to charge for parking later in the evenings?
In the summer months.
Yeah.
It's possible to close the gate later. It will cost us more money because we'll need to keep staff on.
Oh, okay.
And we have trouble keeping staff on that late. That's not to say we couldn't try to do that, so we could. We could look at charging, but again, when do we start that? At 8 o'clock, and then,
I like the rental
I
idea.
think it's almost,
Right, I think
I like
that's
the
the way
lot.
to do it. Charge the
Bombview comes
businesses,
down
not
at
the
9
people.
o'clock, and they rent the thing, and they manage it, and that's their parking, and we get the rental fee from them. They're the ones benefiting from the crowds.
yeah, and it would, it would have to be a, signage that says parking for,
Yeah.
Mist or Choice, or wherever, in this lot, so I,
And they'd be creep, probably, right? And then they'd start having food there and wanting to do events
Yeah.
and things like that on our lots, and that gets to be
This is tricky.
dicey. But I think it's a good conversation. This is worth talking about.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
and again, we need the money.
Yep. So it's, discussion phase. I can take back this conversation, and we can look at our options. I mean, maybe it is that we look at that evening window of when people, it's less busy at the beach and we can allocate a certain lot. But it'll take some configuring and staffing and then seeing if, you're right, seeing if the
And even
business
that's a
wants to
trial
rent.
run, like a
But
pilot
maybe,
1 year. And just,
Again, maybe we can get some of our community partners involved.
Yeah.
The police are asking us,
Mhm.
they have CSOs,
Oh,
maybe.
and absolutely, they've
they could get
offered
it-
them up
They
during
could
the
get a
day.
CSO to help
Yep.
maybe in the evenings,
Mhm.
or maybe Matunic, I'm sorry, the Ocean View or
Yep.
Joyce's Pub could contribute somehow to
Right.
staffing and
Right.
managing. So maybe even to renting a parking lot or putting
Yeah.
in a little bit to offset some of the usage.
No, I think this is a good discussion. And who knows, I mean, we don't even know if people will use it, that's the.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
No.
And
We
it-
don't know until we try, I guess.
don't want it to be this political thing where it turns into this beach access argument again,
Right.
which we don't want.
No.
And we're not
No,
doing it
that's
for that
not the
reason.
intention. I don't
Exactly.
think on
So it's
anybody's
all the
part,
more
right.
communication, like we have to make that
Right.
clear.
And if any, I would like to see any rental agreement is that customers could park for free. I don't want.
You mean beach customers?
Anyone.
Anyone.
I wouldn't feel comfortable
Oh,
renting
right,
it to the
right,
Ocean
right.
Mist and then them charging
Yes.
$25
Right.
a spot. That I don't like.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it would have to be
Yep.
I agree there.
But we'll get there when we get there.
9 o'clock.
Okay,
Good.
so we'll continue with this. And we'll move on to new business item E, the summer concert series.
Yes, so this is something that has been referred back to the Recreation Commission by the town council. We had a town council member, Wedgemont, who had conversations with the town manager and then at the council level about an idea to have a summer concert series at the town beach. You may recall, we've done some concerts here and there at the town beach over the past few years. Last year, we did the Wakefield Concert Band, which went very well. We've done the 300th anniversary concerts at the beach. By all accounts, well-attended, and people loved them, right?
And looking for them, looking for more.
Yeah.
When are you
So,
doing it again?
I did include in your packets the memo that I sent to the town manager about this and about the request. And the council did talk about it at the last town council meeting, which I was not at, I was away. But ultimately, referred it back to the rec commission because it really lives at the rec commission level first. But they are all very supportive of the idea of concerts on the town beach. This memo that I put together just gives a background on some of the concert series that we already do, which are the Village Green Concert Series and the concert series with the Wakefield Concert Band, where essentially we provide the space for them and they manage themselves, which has historically been at Marina Park,
Mhm.
although they've broadened their horizons a little and moved around a bit. And we have them booked at the beach already this summer. So we have one concert at the beach. Happy to do concerts at the town beach. We just have to be mindful of what all else is going on throughout the summer. The town beach is a popular place in the evenings during the summer, even without a band or without any other thing going on. So, what I had proposed is trying a 3-concert series at the town beach for this coming summer. One being the Wakefield Concert Band, because they had already been booked, and then having 2 other bands. And the council did talk about trying to look at local talent, so that we would showcase entertainment from the area.
That's nice.
Very nice. And doing it after the 4th of July, like
Yeah.
nothing
That's a big thing to
before the 4th
organize.
of July. After the 4th of July, summer kicks into full gear, looking at 2 in July and 1 in August, I think. I don't think there were dates identified. All that being said, we can do it. We can do it. It just, it is finding the funds to make it happen, to pay for the bands, to pay for the public safety. The council did talk about the potential of getting some kind of committee together that might be able to fundraise, seek out sponsorships, to offset these costs. We do that for the Village Green concerts. We seek out sponsorships. We seek out sponsorships for the 4th of July. So we want to be careful about not watering down.
Yeah.
You know, the effort becomes a little broader. The idea of having volunteers from the community does help, because sometimes when a volunteer committee member seeks sponsorship dollars, it's better received from a business. And so we could put together a working committee. I don't think it needs to be I think it needs to be like skate park committee or the dog park committee, where they meet, they come up with their mission with a beginning and an end, and carry it out with the department being, kind of the guiding force and the source of, we're gonna put it at the beach, we're gonna have staff on, we're gonna arrange for the public safety, but I think the big piece is that when you have a group from the community, they promote it, they help raise money for it.
Yeah.
We saw that. It gains traction.
Yeah.
So I think if we put out the call for interested folks in the community that might want to be involved, with the intent of, here's your role, which really the help is needed with fundraising,
Money.
and raising awareness.
Right.
I think
Advertising
it
and
would be
fundraising.
it would be a good thing, and we give it a trial run, and maybe we shift. In the coming years, we look at, okay, maybe Village Green gets down
Well, that's what I was
graded
gonna ask.
to.
Would it be 1 or 2 or 3 less concerts in other places? Because it also is a lot for your staff to
Mhm.
manage.
Mm.
And like you were saying earlier, we don't want to compete with ourselves either
Right.
by having too much.
Yeah, I think initially that was my proposal was, well, let's think about breaking up, maybe doing 3 concerts at the Village Green and 3 at the beach. But the Village Green, it falls under a separate budget.
Mhm.
It's under the guild budget,
Okay.
so it's covered basically. I mean, we still seek sponsorship dollars, the revenue comes in, it stays in that budget. And people really like the Sunday night concerts.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
an
think,
We don't want to
established
break.
thing, right?
but I
Yeah.
think going forward, we can see what that looks like, right? For this year, though, we had already block booked the concerts for the Village Green, so we have 6
You've already done it.
concerts.
I was going to say, because I know you do group bidding too.
We do, and that's the block booking, so we
Yeah.
have already done that. That's not a problem, we're gonna have 6 concerts on the Village Green.
Okay. This would be an
Adding to
addition.
that, it's really 2 concerts that we're adding, because the
Because you already have
Wakefield
the
concert
Wakefield, yeah.
band, that's part of their regular schedule.
Okay.
But it
2
does
more.
involve us staffing it and
Finding local
public
talent.
safety, and I think we've got some bands in mind. One of them was, what'd you say?
Take It to the Bridge?
No, they're doing well. We're looking at, TJ and the Campers, they played on the Village Green, and they also played at, one of the,
Trifecta.
at the Trifecta. They have a couple of, 2 or 3 members who are from South Kingstown, and then I think it was Guest Method was the other
Oh,
one
yeah.
that reached out to us, and they're also local. So those are the two we're looking at.
I think
Yeah.
the target could really be kids. That's why the bonfire was so good, because it was not what was going on at Phil's and CTC. You go in, you're drinking, everyone's drinking, you're packed, and this party atmosphere there is more spread out, and there's families like that, sort of that older kid, a
Mhm.
place to go with like a cool rock band playing and a family-friendly sort of rock band.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
So you're not directly competing with Bonneview either, or Ocean Mist either. Like it's that niche. Like we could really capture that.
And it would be it would be a 6 o'clock concert.
Yeah,
Because
right.
It's dark at the beach, right? When it gets dark, it is dark. 6 o'clock, 7 to 7:30. There was a proposal for like food trucks and ideas.
Yeah.
And that's all something we could do.
If we charge like a gate, not necessarily parking,
What
but like a
day
gate
of the week
fee.
are you thinking? Friday nights compete with Narragansett.
See, that's the other thing. There's so many options in the summer,
Yeah, there
but
really
we're
are.
looking at Mondays or Tuesdays.
Oh, okay.
So, Wakefield Concert Band will do a Monday, because they always do a Monday. I'm pretty sure they're doing a Monday. And then the other two are still, in the works, but the Monday or Tuesday seem to be the best, that aren't already taken, essentially. Talk about Westerly, they talk about Narragansett, South County Commons, Village Green. I mean, there are concerts
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yep.
But people come.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that crowd is at Village Green. It seems like an older crowd. to
Oh,
me,
absolutely.
Right. So
Yeah.
we would want that younger family,
Yep.
I love that.
not little toddlers, but not Wiggles. Am I dating
family.
myself with
Might be on
Wiggles?
the beach.
But just that, like I remember my kids between 10 and 15, like just, you outgrow the circus or whatever, those
Yeah.
kinds of things, and they get crazy expensive. Like this would be kind of a cool, they just run around, but you're kind of in an enclosed area, and parents would have fun, kids would have fun.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, the beach is great.
Yeah.
We had a great time at the bonfire. It sounds like that's kind of what you're.
Yeah. Right.
That was.
I'm not saying bonfire, but.
No, but there was I know.
Do you need an approval on
There
this?
was so we saw
Nice to
all these other
support.
families there. I
That's
mean,
great.
it was
I
a
love
good
it.
time.
Support concerts
So
in
good.
Palm Beach this summer.
Does somebody want to make a motion to support?
I'll definitely make that motion.
Oh,
Tim,
do you want to discuss?
Can I just check in
something?
with you? I mean, I know you proposed the additional two. This feels like more work and more money.
Mhm.
I'm only okay with it if you're okay with it.
We can do this.
Okay.
I think as we look at it going forward, there may be other things we take away to offset. If this becomes immensely popular, we would need to adjust our, what we're doing. We have a really good staff. I think, I don't think that that's an issue at all, as long as we keep our really good staff and have a full staff through the summer. It's our high season, and everybody knows that that's what we do. in
And we
the
could
summer.
generate
This could be
revenue
our pilot.
at the
Yes.
event. Like, we don't necessarily have to rely on sponsors, but we could also generate revenue there, whether it's gate charge or, I don't even know what that would look like.
Yeah.
But.
Even donation.
And donations, yeah. I mean, you're not going to sell hats, but to make that much money, I mean, we could, but, or not merchandise, but food truck rental, and,
Yep.
I don't know how that would work, but we could just, again, nominal fee.
Yep, we can do that. Put it in the scholarship fund.
Yeah.
Some of it. I mean, one of these, we could earmark in the future, maybe not this year, but as a fundraiser
Exactly.
for the scholarship program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, instead of our basketball tournament.
If you did make a motion, I second that motion.
Okay, Sean.
I'll make that motion.
I will
Motion by
second that motion.
Sean, seconded by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. The proposed summer concert series is approved. Sorry. Division reports without Lenka or Rex.
If I may, I will
Okay.
just say, both Lenka and Rex have, I mean, I say this I could say this every meeting, they do an outstanding job.
Yes, they do.
We've had some great winter programs, going on. I'm just trying to see here what I should highlight here. In January, because now I have to go back, because we've had some good ones in February too. Vinny is still running his Gamers Den program, which is our game room downstairs, and he does a phenomenal job. This program, it attracts kids that might not want to do something else, but boy, when they get into this Gamers Den program, and it's not just video games, it's card games, it's board games, it's Pokemon, and Vinny's like a big kid in this room, and the kids, they come for him, and
that's nice.
it's very well received, and he does a great job with it, so I want to give Vinny a shout out.
That's wonderful.
Ongoing in-house basketball league, tennis lessons. Basketball just wrapped up this last Saturday. Believe it or not, we didn't have any snow days, even though we had lousy weather all winter. Taylor Lynch did a great job running the program. Let's see, we've got things going on at the rec center. Steve, notes that we've got lots of birthday parties. You noted the rental, we're killing it in rentals, which
That's
is
great.
good. The usual stuff, pickleball, dance classes, after-school programs. I did have, not to digress too much, but I had the opportunity to provide a tour of the rec center to representatives from the city of East Providence back in January, I think it was. They have a grant to expand or build a community center, which is what's happening over at the Peacedale Library too. And it has to have like components of work, training, a health clinic component, but they came to look at the rec center to see the design, and they were very impressed. I mean, it's a good building. It was hopping with activity. That was the best advertisement we could, put out there. Half was a bunch of pickleball players from age 40 to 70, and on the other side were kids playing basketball. I mean, it was great. But
That is great.
anyway, the rec center is rocking. Let's see, like Lenka had said last month, we're really embracing civic rec and getting our feet on the ground with it. Every week we get better at it, and by the time summer camp registration rolls around, we hope to be in full stride with civic rec, but it's been a big help. I think that's it right now. We're gearing up for, Vinny's got camp this week, for vacation camp, but we'll report out on that next month. Any questions on programming? Beach passes started for sale. That was the other thing. We've sold 10 so far.
Wow.
We are usually not selling them this early, but these are the types of days, this cold day, where we want to put out. Don't forget, the beach is open in May. Summer's coming, right? And then on the facility side, Rex has some things going on, but he'll give you the playground update next month. The Riverwalk fence repair is underway, so we're anxious to get the fence reinstalled, I think in March, so that will be great. Old Mountain Field Baseball, that they had completed the sod installation on the baseball field.
Oh, yeah. Hoping
We can add to that the Old Mountain Field project and get the big one underway. Rex provided some disc golf statistics. I don't know if I put them in here. I didn't. I'll have to forward those to you. There's a website, like a national website for disc golf, and it gives all the statistics on local disc golf courses and how many people use it. And Curtis Corner is a very busy place for disc golf, so we'll share those statistics with you. But it's well used. We are looking at making sure that whatever might be decided for South Road School in terms of development doesn't interfere with some of our disc golf holes that abut that. property, if we had to adjust a little, we could, but I think it's important to note that even though nobody sees people playing disc golf, because they're in the woods, it's very busy.
It is
busy
very
place.
busy and very well known.
Terry, can I ask, going back to all MF, the osprey nest removal?
Yep.
What's involved with that? Like, what does that mean?
DEM?
Every year, birds come back, same nest, so we tried it.
I see 100 pictures of it. It's constantly
Yeah.
online, but I mean, is it? I'm assuming it's a process. It's a
It is a process.
thing that they
We have to
do.
get permission
Yeah.
to move it, and
Okay.
then, so Rex has Audette coming out, electrical contractor, to take the nest, remove the osprey nest on the left field light tower, so we can make repairs, like, that we can't get at the light to
Yeah.
repair it. I don't know
Okay,
what
so
that means in
I'll-
terms of whether we have to put it back or not.
So Audette is the electrician,
Yeah, the
not,
electrician,
okay.
yes,
But I think they filed with DEM
yes, yep.
to
And
remove it.
And they will Audette has had this happen before, because they're gonna be removing the nest.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we tried the fake,
Owl?
eagle or
Oh.
something that was on one, and it didn't work. They
Yeah.
come back, they are very territorial.
They're a magnificent bird. I mean, they're so
They are
great.
magnificent and they're fun to watch, but I'm sure there are problems.
I mean, the nests are, it's
They
probably the
have
size of this
yeah.
table, right? It doesn't look that big,
They're-
but when
oh,
they're
yeah, because
massive.
yes.
It's awesome.
So, some of these challenges, you just never know, you can't make them up. The Parks Division crew has been out plowing and, doing their winter stuff, winter project. Actually, Jeff Banks, our assistant superintendent, did provide a report. I think you heard, about the Curtis Corner footbridge that's been repaired. There,
30 years old.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you go over that, I've only been over it a couple times.
Well, it's new, so now.
But
we
now
go
it's
over
like
it,
brand-
it'll
yeah.
be solid as,
Oh, on the police station side.
yes, yeah.
I
Yeah,
see.
like
I
right
know
in
what you mean.
that corner, yeah.
Yeah,
But, despite the snow, the parks are getting used, so our guys are out there.
Yeah,
They're, changing filling mutt mitt dispensers and, picking up trash. They're still doing all that. They're doing winter projects, and they're plowing, so they've got a full schedule, and we are, on the verge of posting for seasonal and or part-time staff, so that we can hit the ground running in April, and, it's gonna be busy, but it'll be good. But they do a great job, they really do, and we have a really good team. So, yeah, lots going on.
I bet
Job
they have lots of
security.
branch removal after all the high winds the last couple of
Branch
days.
removal, yeah, yep, and,
Yeah,
you
few
know,
branches down
dogs
ourselves.
and basket case right now.
Like, I thought there might be tree down on the bike path, we usually get that with
Yeah.
the high gusts, we didn't. Probably be the next storm.
And the very wet snow that we had the other day, I mean, what day, Saturday? Was it Saturday?
Yeah.
Snowed, then rained, and
You didn't have a whole lot of tree issues in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shocking.
Should we make a motion to approve the division reports?
Oh, I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion by John, seconded by Sean. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The division reports are approved. Miss Murphy, you're about to commit an Irish sin, trying to host a meeting on March 17th.
Well,
Aren't you an
that's not
Irish
my
girl?
decision. That's your decision.
It's our third,
Yes,
moving
the
in our
next-
third straight month.
The next meeting is scheduled for March 17th at 6:30. I'm
No
gonna be
corned beef
here.
and cabbage, no beer.
No.
So if you guys feel like you wanna change that, that's entirely up to you.
Yes.
That's our school vacation week, but I don't think we have plans to be out of town. I think I'm around.
At Tripon Nature Center too.
I have not been there yet.
Yeah, we always have the March meeting at the Nature Center.
Wait, is that this?
I think we come back for Monday, if I remember correctly.
Well, why don't you all
We
You
can
know
always
how
do it through
Joanne feels,
email.
but why don't we all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get back to me.
Everybody else
Um,
might be
and-
just fine with it.
Well, as long as we have a quorum, and remember, we're still a member short, so that's the only thing that.
Any update with that?
I was gonna ask that too.
The council is interviewed, they've done a lot of interviews, there's multiple boards and commissions that are short, members, and so,
Do we have anyone interested?
I know that there was one applicant, I'm not sure if there is a second, I know, somebody attended one of the meetings to kind of get a
Oh,
flavor.
right, yes. yes.
So, I don't.
Last time.
Oh, that's.
Will's friend.
What that was.
Yes, so I haven't heard from the clerk's office, I don't know if anybody else has applied, but if they have, the council will interview them, I think.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Please, motion by Sean, second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's
Aye.
adjourned, this meeting's adjourned at 8:22. Thank you very much.